I want to talk with you about something that I've been investigating for a few years now. In fact, I want to talk with you about an experiment that I've been doing, an experiment with my soul over the last several years. And I want to share with you a little bit about what I'm learning, particularly as it relates to the scriptures. I continue to be amazed at how incredibly relevant the Bible is to this day and age, even though it's such ancient literature. I mean, it's like God wrote it or something. So I want to share with you something that I've been discovering. So speaking of experiments, you probably did this one in junior high school when you were getting introduced to biology lab, or you've at least read or heard about it. If you take a big pot, let's say the pot you might boil spaghetti in, take a big pot and you fill it with salt water from the ocean. You put it on the top of your stove, turn the burner up, and bring it to a boil. And leave it boiling until all the water that's in the pot has evaporated. What you'll have at the very end, when all the water has gone, is you'll have several tablespoons of salt crystals in the bottom of that pot. And, I mean, you can taste it. I'll just tell you, it's going to be pretty stout. You guys familiar with that experiment? Okay, so let's think of it in a different way. Let's say you take that same pot, and now we're going to fill it with, you ready? We're going to fill it with theology and religion. And we're going to put faith in there, and we're going to put church in there, and we're going to put like spirituality in the pot. We're going to put like Christian journey, spiritual life. We're going to put them all in the pot, and we're going to boil it. We're going to boil away all the superfluous until you only have one thing left. You only have the essence of everything that we talk about in the Christian life. What is the one thing, when all's been boiled away, what's the one thing that's left? What's the essence of what it means to be a Christian? What's the one thing that truly matters? What's the one ingredient when it's all boiled down? Would you like to know? This is my take. This is what I'm beginning to be confident about. Is that at the heart of the Christian life is a relationship with Jesus. That's it. It's all about a relationship with Jesus. Now, just that statement alone, relationship with Jesus, weirds some people out. Because you're like, how do I have a relationship with someone I can't see, I can't touch, I can't have a conversation with them like I typically think of conversation? But that's what it's all about. So we have to figure that out. So it's interesting, historically, Christians believe that Jesus rose from the dead. He resurrected, and he is alive. He's alive again, and he's alive still. Now he dwells in heaven with his with his Father, our Father God. But he is alive, and he invites us into a relationship. And just like any healthy, any good relationship, there's some things that characterize our relationship with Jesus. They look like respect. A relationship is built on respect. A couple, a husband and wife who have lost respect for each other, they don't have a good relationship. A good relationship is about respect. A good relationship is about trust. A trust between parent and children is important for a healthy relationship. The same with the relationship with Jesus. Loyalty, commitment, devotion. A commitment to one another is an important part of relationship. It brings security when there's a sense of loyalty in a relationship and a sense of honesty. Everybody telling the truth. Being honest and open with what they really think, what they really feel. These are important to any healthy relationship, and they're just as important to a relationship with Jesus. And we'll talk a little bit more about those a little bit later in the series. But I want to begin here that the most important part of what it means to be Christian is a relationship with Jesus. And here's the thing I want you to understand, is that anytime we begin, sorry, I feel like I'm preaching. Anytime we begin adding stuff, attaching things to a relationship with Jesus, we create religion. Did you hear that? It's all about a relationship with Jesus. And anytime we start attaching stuff to it, we essentially create religion. And here's the problem with that, is when you create religion, you automatically create obligation. There's these things that you have to do, and there's these things that you shouldn't do. Religion is defined by obligation, and the minute you start adding obligation to your understanding of what it means to be in a relationship with Jesus, then it becomes about performance. It becomes about checking boxes. It becomes about whether you're a good Christian or a bad Christian, whether you're doing the right things or whether you're not. And I'll just tell you from 40 years of experience of spiritual journey and 30 years as a pastor, that when you make it about a religion with obligation and performance, maybe you've already discovered this. If you haven't, maybe I will help you here, is that exhausting. That's exhausting. That is why so many people find religion so disappointing, so disillusioning. It just doesn't deliver. It's so exhausting when you're constantly living trying to meet obligations and perform well against the check marks. Anybody else ever feel that way? But a relationship is different. You see, a relationship is built not on obligation, but choice. Two people desiring each other, two people who want to know each other and understand each other well. And when it's built on choice, in fact, love always has to be a choice. You can't demand love. When you make love an obligation, it's no longer love. Now it's a responsibility. So relationship is built on choice, and then that leads to response. Rather than requirements that you have to meet, it's just responding to your understanding of this person that you're falling in love with. And response is different than performance. And what a relationship with Jesus provides is something that's fulfilling, satisfying. Here's my favorite part. It's life-giving. This is suffocating. This will steal life right out of it. It'll suck all the energy out of your life. This was designed, a relationship with Jesus was designed to give you life. Jesus says, I have come that you might have life and that you might have it to the fullest. But so often, because this relationship with Jesus thing sounds so odd and unfamiliar, many people just settle for religion and they just settle for living exhausted lives. So let's talk about being tired. Can we do that? Anybody tired? Or is that just me? It's interesting. I meet so many people. If we're having a really private, personal conversation, I'll kind of ask them, how you doing? I'm exhausted. I'm worn out. I'm tired, and I'm tired of. And just in passing, if we can get past the, hey, how you doing? I'm doing great. If we can get past that, a lot of people I say, hey, how you doing? I'm tired. It's just that life is going so fast, going so furious. I can't keep up. And what's the solution? What is the typical American solution for being either physically tired or emotionally worn out? I need a vacation. Everybody talks about a vacation as being the hope to being physically tired and being emotionally worn out. So what's a vacation about? A vacation is about place, pleasure, and pace. I want to go somewhere different. I want to go to the beach. I want to go to the mountains. I want to go to Spain. I want to go somewhere different. Now, some of that's about, I love those places, but what it's really about is, I just want to be away from here. Because here and everything with it is wearing me out. It's all the stress, the worry, the anxiety, the disappointment. It's kids, it's work, it's school. It says, I just want to be somewhere else. And it's about pleasure. I don't want to have to make the beds. I don't want to have to wash the dishes. I want to sleep in a beautiful room in a resort somewhere. I want to go to the swimming pool. I want to eat great food. I want to eat lots of dessert. I want to experience pleasure. Why? We can live in multi-million-dollar homes and be miserable in them because of what's happening there. So we want to get to a different place and experience some things that we don't typically experience in the day-to-day of our lives. And then we just want a different pace. We want to be away from work and all the responsibilities and the demands. We want to turn off the phone. We want to be away from the computer. We want to just kind of different schedule. We want to sleep late. We want to take naps. Anybody? You're like, yeah, I like this. So let's think about how we do vacations. We do vacations. We want to go to somewhere beautiful. We want to experience a lot of comfort. We want to do stuff that we love, that we never have time to do in the typical day-to-day of our lives. So we want to play 5 days of golf, 7 days of tennis. We want to go hiking. We want to go fishing. We just want to do nothing because we don't get to do nothing. We just want to do nothing. We want to go sightseeing. We want to explore new places. We want to sleep late, take naps. We want to eat lots of delicious food, particularly desserts, and evidently alcohol. Okay, we want to do all that. We want to go for long walks. We want to do some activity, maybe some exercise, but let's not get crazy about it. We want to go see family and friends because that renews and that refreshes. We want to live at least 7 days, 14 days, however long we get, 4 days, well, just whatever. I just want no schedule. I don't want to have to answer phones, and I don't want to have to respond to emails, and I don't want to have to go to meetings, and I don't want to do projects. The truth of the matter is, all I want to wear is T-shirts, sandals, and ball caps. That's it. Ladies, they don't want to do their hair. They just want to wear a ball cap, okay? They just, away from all the fuss that we spend with clothes. We just want to go commando, okay? We don't want to mess with it. And we think about it, some of it's like for sex. I want some time alone with my spouse. I want to experience some intimacy and ecstasy because we just don't even have time for that anymore. And you know what? God designed sex to be renewing. It's one of his many gifts to restore us. So all of these things are good. There's one problem. We go away for 14 days because we're physically tired and we're emotionally worn out. And then we get back, and it's no longer than 48 hours after we get back, or 2 days later, or 2 weeks later. And what? We're feeling all the same ways as when we left for the beach or drove to the mountains. So something's not working. Or is that just me? So you ready? No. Anybody? You ready? What if it's not really our body or our mind that's worn out? What if we've been misunderstanding it this whole time? What if it's not really our body or our mind that's worn out? What if it's that our soul is weary? What if it runs so much deeper? What if what we're really feeling when we describe it as being physically exhausted or emotionally worn out, what if that's really not about our body or our mind, but it's about our soul, that deepest, most godlike place inside of us as humans? What if we're soul tired? So look at this list. We get home from vacation, we've racked up a bunch of debt on our credit card, we've gone away, and no sooner we're back and we're worried again, and we're stressed again, and we're afraid, and discontent, and angry again, and we're disillusioned and discouraged, and here's that bitterness that I thought I was going to leave for a while. It's still there waiting for me. I'm sad, I'm frustrated, I'm still impatient with everybody around me, and I'm resentful of what's not happening in my life, and in fact of the matter is I'm weak, and I'm just a sucker for anything that comes my way, even though I know it's not good for me, and I feel stalled in my life. I feel stalled in my relationship with God, and the truth of the matter is I'm broken. Down deep inside, I'm broken. And here's the problem with this, is we think of these as emotions. Because we can see this, we can feel this, other people can see it in us. We think of these as emotions. Do you know what? Emotions are just the indicator lights on the dashboard. Emotions are just the indicator lights on the dashboard. You know those little red lights, those little yellow lights that come up on the dashboard? How unwise would it be for us to think, the problem's the red light. I got to get that red light fixed. I got to stop that yellow flashy thing. No, see, the red light and the yellow flashy thing is simply letting us know that there's a deeper problem. There's something that's not working right where? In the engine, in the electrical system, down in the transmission. Something much deeper isn't working right. So we see and feel these emotions in our life, and we think, well, this is a physical sort of thing, so I need a vacation. But these run much deeper. See, here's what I want us to understand, because it's taken me a few years to understand it myself, is that these are not physical in nature. These, you ready? These are all spiritual. Every one of those is soulish on one level or another. All of these come back to something in our soul that isn't right. Some sort of turmoil, some sort of distress, some sort of confusion, some sort of brokenness down on the level of our soul. We get back from vacation and it's all still there. Why? Because it's down here, inside of us. I took it with me to Colorado, or I took it with me to the beach. I just forgot about it for a while, but then I came back and there it was again waiting for me, because it's soulish. It's soulish. And we live in a society that does everything to compete against us taking care of it properly. Did you hear that? We live in a society that competes against everything of taking care of it properly. We talk about productivity, and we talk about success, and we talk about being effective, we talk about living efficient lives, and we talk about quality, and we talk about quantity, we talk about impact, and we talk about significance, and it just rushes us all the time. It just pushes us, drives us in our lives. And it's everything antithetical to how the soul works. You want to know what the three biggest threats to soul health are? If not, I'll just finish up. Thank you. Are you ready? These are not what you expect. These are the three biggest threats to a healthy soul. The first one, hurry. Always running. Always in a race. A million things to do, 100 places to be at the same time. We're always in a hurry. I'll just tell you, your soul doesn't do hurry. Your soul does not respond right when hurried. And you can't fix your soul in a hurry. That's the experiment I've been doing the last several years. I've realized finally is I can't get my soul healthy quickly. It takes time. The second threat is noise. And our lives are surrounded, inundated with noise all the time. The television, the radio, the car stereo, the news, the media, social media. It's just all this noise all the time. Our soul doesn't do noise. The soul is a quiet place. The soul only whispers. It only whispers. And the only time you'll ever hear the whisper of your soul is when your life is quiet. And the third, clutter. All those loose ends, all that unfinished business, all those things that we accumulate and think that we need, and they just start piling up in our garage and our attic and on our desk and in our homes, and it just creates all this clutter. And the soul doesn't like clutter. So I've written out these next few statements because I want to make sure we get them because they're so important. Physically exhausted and emotionally worn out can be cured with a great vacation, but soul tired cannot. Go on as many vacations as you can afford, but if it's your soul that's tired, you'll always come home exhausted. Physically exhausted and emotionally worn out can be cured with a great vacation, but soul tired cannot. You see, your soul, that deep God part of who we are as human beings, your soul requires a completely different approach to rest and renewal. You see, as long as we keep thinking that our problem is physical and we start throwing physical solutions at it like vacations, it's never going to work because our soul is spiritual in nature. It's the one eternal part of us. It is uniquely spiritual in its being. And so the only way that our soul can be renewed and restored is we need to seek spiritual solutions because physical solutions won't address spiritual problems. Did you hear that? Most people spend their life chasing after spiritual solutions by throwing at them physical problems. And that can range from vacations to alcohol to drugs to sex to gambling to a life of leisure, just trying to bring some kind of peace inside. But inside is spiritual, and there's only one spiritual kind of solution. The cure for a tired and weary soul is not a place, and it's not a pleasure. The cure for a weary soul is a person, and his name is Jesus. The cure for a tired and weary soul is not a beach or the mountains or Spain. It's not a resort. It's not a king-size bed that you don't have to make. The cure for a soul that's worn out is a person, and only one person, and his name is Jesus. Maybe that's why Jesus said, come to me, all of you who are weary and burdened, and come to me and I will give you what? Rest. I'll give you rest. Your hurried life, I'm here to give you rest. Your noisy life, I'm here to give you peace. Your cluttered life, I'm here to bring order. Come to me, all of you who are weary and burdened, I will give you rest. I just love the sound of that word. I'll give you rest. Take my yoke upon you. This is a first century image of an oxen or two oxen put together under a brace that they pull the wagon together. They pull the till together, okay? So take my yoke. Jesus is saying, quit doing your life by yourself. Come, let me share your life with you. Come, let me be a part of the pulling. Take my yoke upon you. Learn from me. I have some things to teach you. I am God come to earth. I've been around this life thing for a while. In fact, I created it. I know and understand things about it that you don't. If you'll just learn some things from me, for I'm gentle and I'm humble in heart. Look at this. And you will find rest where? For your soul. It was Jesus all along. The only one who's ever offered rest for the human soul. Come to me, all of you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest for your soul. For my yoke, this thing, this doing life with me, my yoke, it's easy. It's not full of obligations and check marks of performance that's so suffocating. No, it's easy. If our Christian life doesn't seem easy, we're doing it wrong. If we've made it harder than it was supposed to be, we still have not figured it out. My yoke is easy and my burden is light. And if you're walking around like, oh, it's great to be a Christian, you're missing the point. So that's what I want to talk with us about the next couple of weeks. Jesus is inviting you into a relationship with him, not a religion about him. Jesus had no interest in starting a religion. That wasn't his point. It wasn't his effort. It was what people did with what Jesus brought that turned it into a religion, and we've been living under the pall of that for centuries. At the end of the day, Jesus was saying, I just want you to have a relationship with me. And so it's like in the midst of all the noise and all the hurry and all the clutter, it's like Jesus is quietly, because he doesn't scream, he doesn't yell, he doesn't raise his voice. He's quietly saying three things. He says, come away. Forget it for a while. Just come apart. Be with me. And then just be here right now. Don't be at work and here. Don't be with the kids and here. Don't be at school and here. Don't be in your bank account and here. I just want you to be here with me. And then here's the words I think we miss the most often. He's saying, stay a while. Quit always being in such a hurry. You see, when Christians talk about reading their Bible and praying, these invitations to relationship, we've turned them into obligations and we perform against them. Oh, I have to read my Bible today. I have to say my prayers today. And how do we do that? As quickly as possible. I'm going to give God 10 minutes. Oh, 10 minutes. Wow. Such a wonderful blessing you are to God. You're going to give him 10 minutes. What is that? It's obligation. I have to check the box. I'm going to give him 10 minutes, but I have all these other things I have to get to. And Jesus is saying, could you just stay a while? Why are you always in such a hurry to leave? Christians are invited to enjoy a relationship with Jesus in the same way that we enjoy the best of relationships on this earth. And in order for a relationship to thrive, it must be cultivated in a consistent and committed manner. When we do any relationship as sort of hit and miss, and we neglect it over long stretches of time, it will not nurture the kind of close and intimate understanding and appreciation of the other. If people do their marriage like hit and miss, long stretches of time of cultivating intimacy with each other, it's not going to work. And the same is true with the relationship that we have with Jesus. If it's hit and miss every once in a while, and I can squeeze it in if I have time today, then it's not going to develop the kind of understanding and appreciation that a relationship with Jesus deserves. It's like failing to plug your phone into the charger at night so that it has many hours while you rest to recharge again in order for it to perform well on your behalf throughout the day. And when we neglect putting our relationship, our soul, on the charger, the one thing that can bring life to it, when we neglect that, then our soul doesn't work the way that it was intended. And life seems really overwhelming and tiring. There's a verse in the Old Testament. I have grown to love it in ways that I never thought I could before until I truly understood it. And it's just such a simple verse. Every Christian ought to memorize it. It ought to just be a part of your repertoire. And it's this one powerful verse in the book of Psalms. Be still and know I'm God. This phrase right here, be still, its meaning literally is quit striving. Quit racing, quit running, quit trying, quit being in such a big hurry. Be still. Quiet yourself. Slow it down. Back it off. Be still and just sit in the knowledge that I'm God. Your job, your kids, your health, your finances, your addiction, would you just stop enough throughout the day to realize I'm in a relationship with the God of the universe? There isn't anything that he can't help me with unless I completely forget and neglect to address him with it. Be still and know I'm in a relationship with God. To do that, to be still, can we just be honest? Put down your phone. Like, put it in another room. Because with all the alerts and the bells and the vibrations, you're here with God, and then you're doing, like, do I need to? Put down the phone. Put it in another room. Come here. Be here. Stay a while. Turn off the television. Turn off all the noise. Everybody demanding your attention, wanting to fill your mind with fear and information based on some sort of agenda that is not good for your soul. Turn off the television. Get away from your computer. I know this may sound really ancient and old school, okay? But you trying to do your devotions on your computer or on your phone probably isn't going to work. I'm just telling you the truth. Get out your Bible. Find a place. Turn off the computer with the screens and its notices and all the open, documents in your browser. That's clutter. Get away. Be there. Stay a while.